Hey there, YouTube, it's Petey Two Figure, and I'm here to talk about this amp project I've been working on. I apologize, I've wasted so much time talking about this. Um, well, number one, check out this Tub Ring show. This is on YouTube. It's called Tub Ring Live in Montreal, opening for mindless self indulgence, February 14th, 2003. This is an excellent Tub Ring concert, and it features songs from their first three albums. Also, over here, you see this Tub Ring live at Lee's Place. This is a really good show. That's the newer stuff because Tub Ring has, I think, five albums. I know there's one, Secret Handshakes, and then something Calamity, Choose Your Calamity, Calamity of Our Choice. I forget what there's one from 2007, one from 2017. And I skimmed through those albums a couple times. I never really listened to them. Today I listened to the Calamity, the 2017, and it's really good. I love Tub Ring. I love this band. I love their lyrics. I love their music. I love their live performance. So I would really twist your arm to give this band a shot. They're the band that people really love to hate on these guys. They're kind of screamo. There's a little bit of that where they're screaming. But the lyrics are intelligent, witty, funny, sci-fi type stuff. It's minimal. There's a little bit of that relationship stuff going on in there. I can't stand that. And they're an incredible live band. Incredible. So I would twist your arm to check that out. Now back to this amplifier. Today I found out that Tata, the place that supplies parts and PCBs, they're going to be taking a week off for Water Day. And I got an order coming that never came. I ordered it on the 4th. And it's parts for the preamp. There's two preamps in this amplifier. So I'm just like, we spent the last 4 days building these Fender-ish clean boost type circuits, and none of them worked. I had three bad layouts, and then the one I built today, I have no idea what I did wrong, or if that was a bad layout too. I don't know. It did not work, and I did all my troubleshooting shenanigans I could do and didn't get it to work. So I took a look. There's a circuit called a Lay Louie, which is a modified electro distortion, but people love this pedal. They love it. It's a expensive boutique pedal, and it sounds Fendery. Like it does Rolling Stones, it does Neil Young. It sounds just like the tones of the albums too. And I think it does clean. I hope it does. So I'm not one of those ones who likes that touching your guitar knob. No, it's got to always be on 10, or I'm fretting, and not in the two finger way. So I went to order this thing, and I ordered all the parts because it's easier than pulling them out of stock. I get this stuff from the same place, so and it's like $8 for the PCB and it's $12 for the parts, so it's not a big deal. I don't spend money on anything else, and this is once a year I build myself an amp. So yeah, I get done and I go to pay, and it's like it's what? Hey, just so you ain't getting your stuff for at least a week because it's Water Day, and we'll take a week off for that. Like, Water Day? Are you kidding me? And I just ordered a whole like $23 order that I checked the tracking number and they didn't deliver it to the depot yet, and they're supposedly already on break. So I'm gonna have to go nuclear on them if I'm not getting those parts. I've been waiting on them. The PCB's sitting here. So yeah, I found another place that sold the Lay Louie, and I bought it, and then I went and and looked at the layout, and it's not ideal. It's gonna make me have to do some thinking, some looking at the schematic, and maybe even a modification or two. So it's not a good day for Petey. I'm such a horrible, lazy DIYer. Anyway, what I'm going to do, the parts showed up for the 2 noise gate circuits that I built that I didn't. Well, the one part I bought and it was a counterfeit and it didn't work. I think. Maybe that's part of the curse that this thing didn't work. We'll find out. Hopefully. Unless they counterfeit Hitachi JFETs. Because if that's the case, then I got another counterfeit. And there's the other one uses Vactrol, and that Vactrol came. So I can move ahead. I built the buffer. I built the voltage regulator. The power amp is mounted in the chassis, and I got a baseboard. I put like a 1/2 inch nice piece of wood in there that's just shy like 1 inch in the front, 1/2 inch in the back, and 1/4 inch on the sides. So what I'm going to do is take an 1/8 inch piece of wood, like plywood, and it's actually cigar box wood. I got a really nice cigar box that's got real wood, not pressboard. So I'll cut that to mimic the front panel of the amp and then mount that on that board that's already screwed in the bottom. So there'll be a false front. And on that false front, I can screw all of the circuits, the 2 preamp circuits, then there's a buffer. And I think one of them actually it's got board mounted potentiometer, so that'll just be screwed through. But if I do need to mount anything like the buffer or the 7809 voltage regulator, because there's 2 power packs. One is 4 battery packs and the other is a single battery pack. The 4 battery packs, I have to install those, drill it out, mount them. Actually, I think I already did that, but I've got to do all the wiring, and that runs to the switch. It's a DP-DT switch. So I can drill that out, drill out the LED. I got a 22 millimeter fancy panel display thing coming. And then I got new trick jacks. So I can do all that. Run a voltage regulator circuit. I got to figure out if I want to mount that to the sidewall of the amp and use the chassis for heat dissipation. Or if I get a big honking heat sink and put it on the back of that board I'm floating. I mean, one of the important things is I've got to remove and install batteries. So I can't get in the way of that. So I'm almost thinking put the power switch on the right and then put that 7809 right there next to it, bolted to the sidewall. And then I can use that sidewall as the heat sink. I won't have to have a heat sink. Run the output of that, the 9 volts, and have a strip of Vero, 2 double strip or 4 strip maybe, going across the bottom of this board. And then the other PCBs that I mount in the front, whether they're going through or they're screwed to the board with the pots coming over and extension wires that drill through, anywhere I need 9 volts for those, I'll just drill through that and the wire will loop through and come down and solder onto this 9-volt rail. And all of that will be probably hot glued for strain relief, So yeah, I've got all that work to do. I can play with the noise gates. I can run the 24 volts up to the DP-DT and back to a fuse and then over to the power amp. I can run the output, heavy duty speaker wire. Actually, what I like to use is if you take a computer power supply and then like a dead one and chop that wire. I use that for my heavy gauge wiring. Or to be honest with you, I use lamp cord for speaker wire a lot. But have it come out of that amp and an output jack. I can sub in some, cheesy whatever output jack, and then when those new trick ones come, I actually solder it in. So I got my work cut out for me. I can play around with that. I'm just letting you guys know what's going on. It's embarrassing. I want to say, look, I'm not going to update you on this amp anymore, but that's not right. I want to tell you guys what's going on, even if it means that I screwed up 4 days in a row. None of the circuits I built worked, and I'm feeling like this. I'm in bottom of the like, if you ever saw that movie Bad Lieutenant, where he's like pouring the liquor over himself. He goes and gets the whores, and he's like having gay sex with some Puerto Rican, and then like he can't stop gambling, and he owes the mob all this money and like all this. He's like jerking off. He pulls over some girl, like a 16-year-old girl. He's like, "Oh, you're out partying, huh?" And then he's like, "Stick your tongue out," and he's like, he's like cranking his stick. It's the most disturbing movie. If you ever see that Bad Lieutenant, he shoots himself in the end of the movie, puts a gun in his mouth in front of a church. He's going to the church every day and praying. That's pretty much me with this amp. So I'm gonna continue to update you guys on this project. Typically I don't demo the stuff I build. I just talk about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm building this thing. It's got a Class D $5. I paid $4.99 on it on eBay. It's listed as 100 watts, but the way I'm hooking it up, it'll be more like 8. I might have a JFrit front end, or I'll probably just not even bother with that. So, yeah. I'm going to update you guys on this one, and this is my way of keeping my sanity. So, if anybody watched this, I appreciate it. And I know that everything's going to be okay. I've said this before. The sun will come out tomorrow, and Gampty and I will get all of this crap together, and we'll head over to the stupid quarries, and we'll play our stupid music, and everything will be just fine. So, how about that? Anyway, yeah, this was one for the books. And I honestly think I'm going to be okay with this. I would have been much happier if it wasn't for the fucking water day. Because the Tata PCB is tiny. And that's the whole thing, is like it had board mounted pots, so I could have just boop 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 drilled 3 holes and stuck it right through. Run the wires back, one wire over to a toggle A, B for this preamp, have the Angry Charlie high gain on one side of the switch, and on the other side this Lay Louie. And like I said, I've been doing everything with shielded cabling, and I will continue to do that. I always do that on my amp builds, and it helps keep them quiet. This one will have the noise gate, so I'm hoping that between the MXR muffler and the Dodd 230, I'll find one that will perform reasonably well for what I do. And it's important that I have clean and dirty on this center channel amp, because I play high gain stuff through the wet system, and to have just clean doesn't work. Last year, the amp that I built had a spring reverb and not much gain. So I had to run an external pedal, which I chose this Carl Martin Plexitone, which is huge. And that has 2 gain stages and a boost. And then I ran a noise gate with it. So I also had to have a splitter, and then I used a volume swell pedal with it just to have more fucking gear. And this year I want to eliminate all that. I'm just going to have the splitter box, and if I have a higher gain amp with the noise gate built into it, I really don't need that spring reverb on the main, on the wet, on the dry. That's what we're talking about, is a dry amp. I've got reverb covered on the wet. So that's the idea. The dry amp is supposed to be a tone machine. It's supposed to sound really good as far as the clean guitar and the dirty guitar. And the people really love the the Angry Charlie, people love it. And people love the Lay Louie. There's all these guys saying it's the best pedal they ever bought in their life. These guys like I've been playing for 25 years and this is the best fucking pedal. And I'm a pedal guy. And I'll tell you what, there's something to be said about low parts count circuits. And that's what this is. It's just a handful of parts. So I'm super stoked about it. I cannot wait to try this Lay Louie. I just really would have preferred to have the version I wanted to buy, because it's going to be more complicated, and I just don't trust myself at this point. All right, you guys, take care of yourselves, and